What is an important piece of advice you can give for those moving into the real world? If something is too good to be true, it probably is. People will try to take advantage of you, and you'll probably fall for it sometimes. It's how you learn. Don't be too down on yourself, just learn from it and move on. Trusting your gut instincts is important as well. There are just some situations where you know something's not right. There will be someone who will hate your guts for no particular reason, even if you are friendly with them, or even more so. It will not be your fault. Agreed. Also, something I've been learning in the last couple of years, and it's taken me until my late 20s early 30s, is that some people are literally just horrible, toxic, whatever, and that's what they are, and not a thing you do or say will change that. Don't waste the energy. The real world is actually really small. Be careful of burning bridges because you'd be surprised how easy it is to run into someone years and years after you last saw them. Never stop learning. Keep up with your old hobbies and interests, and pick up new ones. Take classes, free ones and pay for those you can afford. Join groups for people with your interests so you can learn from them and learn from teaching them. I think it's just as important to avoid complacency. It is incredibly addictive, and if you're not someone who has a surplus of self-discipline, reversing the bad habit is going to be a B. Letting yourself having lazy days is fine and healthy, but keep yourself in check. They can quickly become the norm. Don't just react to things. Think critically. Take a few seconds to analyze situations and come up with conclusions. Always be self-aware and never let people use your emotions against you. I'd add to this, think at least as critically about your own beliefs as you do of others. Never react to an opposing view with anger. Take some time to listen and consider it. There is always a chance you are wrong. The intensity of your social life will likely change, and this is mostly a good thing, but be prepared for it. Being outside of school means you are free from a lot of the weird drama that comes with doing everything in a closed system with roughly the same people. There is still drama, but you can almost always escape it because your life is divided now. You don't live with all your friends and work with them. On the other hand, making new social connections is a new challenge because you aren't thrown into a closed system with people all at your stage of life with many of the same problems. But making friends definitely happens. For me, wherever I was in life, it always took me about 1 year to make one new close friend. Patience is key. I would say you make fewer social connections, but a lot of them are of higher quality. A last piece of advice, don't view work as your only source, or even your primary source, for friends, dates, and hookups. Try to keep part of your social life separate. College is the last time in life where everyone you know your age is roughly doing the same thing and experiencing the same challenges. From here on out, everyone's paths will differ, and that's okay. Some of your friends will get married or have children, some won't. Work experiences and careers will be vastly different. You stop moving in lockstep with your peers. Look after your teeth because they are expensive to fix. Toothpaste, a good toothbrush and dental floss are cheap, so use them well. Look after your credit rating. It is difficult to fix when it goes wrong, and also remember that things do go wrong, so perhaps have a small contingency available if you can. Learn to save and budget so you know how much you can use and save comfortably. Be good to yourself and look after mental health. Even though money goes in and out of your account automatically doesn't mean you never have to look at your bank account. Just a quick daily check of your balance and spendings will keep you out of a lot of troubles. This is an excellent tip. Money management feels completely different when it's an actual number and not an estimate in your head. It's okay to say no. It's just a job. There will be others. Don't try fitting in if it requires you to break your personal values. Being respectful and polite is cool. Great comment. I feel as if a lot of people can struggle with simply saying no because they believe it is implied as mean, but in reality, it shouldn't be. Don't waste your time worrying if you can help it. It just drags you down and makes you weaker. Hit the gym when you can. Boy, will it make you feel better. And smile. Make a conscious effort to smiling more. It'll be reciprocated and it will make you feel good. Consistently live below your means. Save and invest the difference. A long commute is rarely worth it. This is absolutely the truth. I had an hour-long commute last year, then had the opportunity to take a new job 20 minutes away, but with a significant pay cut. I took the new job and life is so much better now that I don't have to drive an hour to get to work. If you're unhappy with your job, put tons of effort into finding a new one ASAP. Also learn to recognize toxic work environments. I once saw a guy quit his job in under 4 hours, just noped right out. When furnishing your home with stuff you find on the side of the road, it's fine to take hard things, tables, art, etc., but never pick up soft things, upholstered chairs, carpets. Even with hard things you have to be careful. Lots of places critters can hide even in tables. When I was in uni I was super stressed. People would always say to me, if you're this stressed now, wait until you get out into the real world. I've been out in the real world for 2 decades now and it's been so much easier than uni. Go out there and enjoy post-uni life. Be very careful of being dragged into any sort of workplace drama politics. That friendly co-worker who is dishing you all the dirt as you learn the ropes is looking for allies. You have no obligation to hang out with these people in a social setting. You don't have to know how to do everything. Knowing how to learn, and being willing to put the effort into learning it, is more important than knowing any one skill. Your attitude is more important than aptitude. An employer can teach you the specific skills needed, but if you aren't a person that people want to be around, then why would they bother? Your employer is usually a neutral party at best. Rare exceptions to this exist, but as a rule your boss is not your friend and does not have your best interests at heart. They have you there to make money off of your labor, no more and no less. This is a business arrangement. Learn to automatically see this as the default. You need to look out for your own interests. Get a better offer elsewhere. Don't think for a second you owe loyalty to your boss. They'd replace you in a heartbeat if you keeled over at your desk. Similarly, mental health days are sick days. Don't trick yourself into believing that you're letting the team down because you need to take care of yourself. No one else at your job is going to take care of you. At best they will do the bare minimum to meet legal requirements. There are exceptions to the above and sometimes the right people or management can earn your loyalty. Just remember that you come first. Not customers, not co-workers, not managers. Do the job. Get paid. Go home. Never believe that you have to sacrifice your physical or mental well-being for a job. They don't pay you enough for that, ever. Honesty and humility get you far in the workplace, as it can often be a game of likability. Just be careful not to be a doormat. For example, I work in IT and once I was troubleshooting an issue that ended up being my fault. I told my boss it was my fault, how, why, and what we did to fix it. He told me someone else not only blamed me, but took responsibility for fixing it. I ended up coming out looking better, despite all of it being my fault. Simply because I was honest. I was promoted a few months later. Not everyone is going to like you regardless of what you do. Trust your gut instinct. It's called that for a reason. Take no crap but do no harm. Meaning don't be a dong but put people in their place when necessary. Take no crap. Do no harm. I want to cross stitch that on a little pillow and put it on my couch now. Familiarize yourself with your region's Landlord Tenancy Act. Know your right and what's expected of you in terms of rent and damage security deposits. Just because you have the money to buy something doesn't mean that you can afford it. People need to hear this one. I know someone who's got about 5k in credit card debt. Bad, but not a completely hopeless situation. He's living paycheck to paycheck trying to pay these cards down. But then the other day he starts talking about how he's about to pay one card off, and then he wants to use it to buy a $700 replica from a movie. Like dude, you are doing so well. Do 10 minutes of cleaning every day, rather than 2 hours of cleaning on one day of the week. Have a budget and stick to it. Know the difference between wanting something and needing something. Don't forget to add a treat yourself line in the budget. Don't focus on what other people have do. Stay in your lane and focused on you and yours. Get a cast iron skillet. Cast iron skillet is the most useful thing I own. Don't fall for pyramid schemes. Don't forget to take care of your physical health. Often people get so caught up in life they forget all about working out, eating right. Most of us end up in sedentary jobs. You don't need to train like an Olympic athlete. Just being active 3 times a week or something is good enough. Maybe picking up a new sport can help you make new friends while you stay fit. And I would add, just because your weight is healthy doesn't mean you're in the clear. Both kitchen and desk jobs mess with my body because my muscles were weak and tight. Luckily, this is often reversible. Unluckily, you may have to do physical therapy for a while. Don't take life too seriously and find a good hobby that makes you happy. Save all you can. Do your best to try to keep at least a minimum $200 in a reserve for in case crap happens money. This is good advice. I would go as far as to say minimum $1,000 of in case crap happens money. Learn how to cook. Sounds basic, but the ability to prepare like an actual meal will help you in life. Zoom out for a big perspective once in a while. Evaluate your life periodically. We are creatures of habit. If you have roommates and live like slobs, you won't really notice that day in and day out. Every once in a while, maybe every 2 months, really look around. What's your life like? Do you have a significant other? Do you want one? Are your habits leading to that or preventing it? Do you come home and watch TV or video game or read endlessly and are completely one-dimensional? When's the last time you spent time with your mom and dad, family or longtime friends? Try to balance stuff. Decide what matters. Make small changes so you don't go through life on autopilot. Variety is the spice of life. Sometimes hanging out with family you haven't seen in a long time is the last time you see them. Maybe they are moving and you volunteer to help and then they give you $793 worth of fishing gear they were gonna just throw out and you're like, I'm okay thanks. Then you give that to your dad and he's happier than he's been in years. Buy a plunger before you move into your first place on your own. Buy it before you need it. Solid advice. It's one of those little things that is easy to overlook. Very few people actually know what they're doing. They've just learned to not show that they're winging it as they go. Plan for your long-term goals, but don't forget your short-term health and happiness. Sacrificing sounds noble and can help sometimes, in limited circumstances, but your performance will be degraded if you don't take care of your physical and mental health along the way. This will cascade and affect your long-term goals as well. Don't trust everyone. There are definitely nice people out there, but they too are surrounded by buttholes waiting to take advantage of them and you. This especially applies to people who you think you can trust. I've been screwed over by friends' family, and it completely destroyed my trust for virtually everyone. A life-changing piece of advice I received from a Reddit post not super long ago. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. Always leave a note. Condoms. Use them. If she says you don't need one, you definitely need one. Growth doesn't feel like growth. It feels like survival. Don't forget to think back a year, 5 years, 10 years and remember where you were. I guarantee if you think realistically, you'll realize that even if you haven't gotten to where you thought you wanted to be, you're a better equipped and developed person now than you were then. More organized equals more leisure time. Trust your gut. If something feels off, there is a pretty good chance that it is. Our instincts are wildly outdated for a lot of the modern world, but I trust them to find what's rotten. Rotten food, rotten deals, rotten people. We have millions of years of evolutionary experience protecting us from those. When you smell something fishy, trust your gut. Legal and illegal are not the same as right and wrong. Don't expect things to work out in your favor just because you did the right thing. There is no invisible hand that punishes the bad and rewards the good. It is especially important to not confuse right and legal when describing directions. Don't accumulate debt. Invest in yourself, not stuff. I am stuff. Budget your money. You may have to live in a way that isn't as nice as what you may have been used to as a kid or teenager. You're going to be tired. You're going to need to work a lot, but keep at it and stay on top of your bills and expenses. Your 20s are the time where you figure out how to balance your work life and personal life. You're going to be figuring out what you want and what's really important to you. Don't worry if you don't figure it out right away. You'll get there. Learn to think for yourself. All of your life your parents taught and promoted their views on life, politics, religion, etc. And probably also told you how wrong the other viewpoints are. Now is the time to go. How do I feel? What do I think? One that I follow religiously now is it's not to sell unless you had already planned on buying it. You have been visited by the cook dog. Comment without food there is no paradise so that you never burn the stakes. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.